Sagittarius. Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We're talking about February today. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot. And like before I start the videos, I'll like shuffle the deck a bunch of times and kind of connect to the light beings and guides and everybody that I hope to work with through the reading. And my attention has just been drawn to the cards that are on the bottom of the split, which is kind of interesting because I don't generally pay attention to those, which is cool. I mean, I'm here for it. I love being guided to messages. I'm totally fine with that. So anyway, the two cards that were at the bottom of that I saw or whatever were the High Priestess and the Emperor. Hello. Which is beautiful. You know, like the High Priestess, of course, just talks about like our higher selves, intuition. I call it, you know, the universe juice card. I mean, it could talk about downloads. The Emperor is, I mean, kind of basically what the name implies, right? Like an authority figure, you know, definitely more on the masculine side of things. So it could be initiating something. So anyway, you know, the feeling or the message that I got from that is that it almost just kind of seems like you are like allowing yourself to be kind of intuitively guided to make like really big decisions. But it's also like, you know, you're not even questioning it, where maybe, you know, I don't know, like in the past, maybe you wouldn't have even necessarily paid attention to the intuition side, or or maybe, you know, like you have just been putting some effort into or focus into strengthening your intuition or just kind of reconnecting with that. But anyway, like I said, you know, it just kind of seems like you are really kind of waiting for those kind of downloads to happen. And it's almost kind of like, again, like I said, there's not even a question. Like, you know, when you kind of get that feeling, or, you know, like that gut feeling, or that download or intuitive nudge, it's just kind of like, you know, you're just going to do it without question, which is awesome. Honestly, you know, see how it goes, see how it works. I don't think that there's ever necessarily anything wrong with following our own, you know, inner authority and our own guidance system, right? And we'll just kind of see like how, you know, that maybe comes out within the message for February. So kind of the same as last month, the center card is going to be the current energy. To the left of that is going to be any blocks. Underneath that is going to be advice to clear the block. And then the last card is kind of where we're heading, like what's next, what's the energy that would be coming up. The card does need to fall out of the deck. Excuse me, I'm having a hard time speaking. My intention is for one card to come out at a time. If there's two that come out, we'll take two. Any more than two, we'll put it back in the deck because we do want the message to be very clear. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if it comes out and it flips around and ends up in the reverse, we'll keep it reverse. And if the cards flip in the deck, we'll just flip them over, keep it moving. Like I said, we want the card to fall out of the deck because we want the message to be very clear. So let's get started. What is the current energy? Okay, see? I'm telling you. Oh, man. Yeah, okay. I mean, already so far, There's been like nothing but major arcanas coming out. But we have the Fool card. The Fool, I mean, it's the truest new beginning, right? I mean, it's like that stage right before the beginning starts. Like it's, you know, it's that decision to go for it. It's the taking the leap of faith and just trusting that there's going to be a net to catch you, and there always is. So, and then we have the World card, and how beautiful is this even too, because this is the last card in the Major Arcana series, and then right after this is the Fool. So there is an ending coming, and literally a new beginning about to take off. And we have the Three of Wands underneath that. So this to me just kind of feels like, you know, you may be heading in a new direction. That may have, you know, like a path may have presented itself to you. This might be something that you have been considering for a while too, but the wands have to do with action and communication. So, you know, the Three of Wands talks about actually kind of starting to move forward. Beautiful. What a card to get, like, absolutely beautiful. And what is the block for Sagittarius? What's blocking Sagittarius? What's the block for Sagittarius? What's the block for Sagittarius? Block for Sagittarius. Ooh. We have the Four of Swords. Sorry, I was just kind of like looking at this card. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. The Four of Swords is generally like the card of rest and rejuvenation, but with it being the swords, that has to do with our thoughts. So, you know, it's and the way that she's just kind of laying here in this nest, and, you know, we have this heart here, and the string is kind of wrapped around what is, I'm supposing to be swords. It just kind of seems like there's a lot of things to consider. And, you know, with it being in the blocked position, you know, this new beginning, or maybe this is just a new beginning that you're just kind of starting to focus on. So this to me is just kind of saying that you're just kind of considering all of your options, right? Like, which is great, and which you should do. And it's almost kind of like too, like, where does my heart lie? Like, where am I going to kind of be the happiest? Where, you know, like, and then we have the Queen of Cups, and that's kind of why I say, you know, there's a lot of options, and maybe you're kind of considering like which one is going to make me feel the best. The Queen of Cups is, of course, our emotions, And I would say she is one of the minor arcana equivalents to the high priestess, because she is very much into her emotional body. And, you know, there's almost this idea of like surrender here on the card almost too, right? Like, I mean, she's kind of sitting in this pool or this water. She's got her hands up, her eyes closed, her head is up, right? So it's almost kind of like asking to be guided, almost is kind of the feeling that I get. So, and you know, what's interesting too, in all of these pictures, their eyes are closed. So again, you know, to me, I just kind of get this feeling of surrender and really, again, kind of even going back to the high priestess and the emperor, you know, really wanting to kind of connect with your intuition about, and maybe, you know, the emperor represents a big decision. I mean, of course, you know, the emperor can represent like a father figure. You know, it's authority. So, you know, anybody that we kind of look at as far as having some sort of authority. But with the Four of Swords being in the blocked position, this, you know, to me just maybe, you know, literally is kind of, you feel blocked because there are maybe so many things to consider. And just really kind of taking your time to navigate through those different things. So how do we clear the block then? How does Sagittarius clear the block? That's too many. How does Sagittarius clear the block? And just kind of really quick too, you know, like with the Fool card, like I was saying, you know, it's that those moments or that period of time before the actual beginning begins. And I think this is just kind of like where we always kind of end up, is this place of almost kind of like stagnation, like purposefully not moving or even intentional rest, right? Because you know, this is kind of something big, you know, like this is kind of almost like life-changing type stuff. So, you know, of course there would be a lot of things to consider, you know, like you have your family, you have your, wherever you live, you have your job, you have, you know, like your expenses, all of these things, right? You had maybe what you thought you wanted to do, or maybe you had certain goals, and maybe, you know, like a situation happened where maybe you kind of have to reevaluate the timing of those goals, you know, so it's again, like, and maybe, you know, of course we can almost kind of feel blocked about those things. And I just kind of get that feeling because like, to me, it almost kind of looks like this is like the same person. The journey, right? Okay. So how do we, what's the advice for clearing this block for Sagittarius? A lot of flippers, but not a lot of jumpers. Take a leap of faith cards. What is the advice for clearing the block? A lot of this is my hands not doing what they are supposed to be doing. So it is definitely very much operator error. And that is too many. What is the advice for Sagittarius? What is the advice for Sagittarius? See how all these cards are like flipping in the deck? Like, what is the advice for Sagittarius? Yeah, this to me is wait. Like, wait for clarity. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. So we have the Hermit and we have the Lovers. The Hermit is a very introspective card. I mean, it's literally the card of going within yourself, to, you know, almost kind of like find a message or discover something about yourself. It's even the card, excuse me, meditation. Hands and mouth not working. So, you know, and we kind of have like two cards here of rest almost. Mind, body. And the Lovers card talks about choices and decisions. Of course, you know, I mean, the literal, one of the meanings of the Lovers card can be within a relationship. So, I mean, of course, like I said, you know, it can be any relationship. It can be work. It can be platonic. It can be romantic. It can be within your family, right? So, but this to me is kind of saying like not to make like a hasty decision, and hasty in the sense of impulsive. I guess I wanted to kind of clarify that. But it's, again, like I said at the beginning, it's kind of like wait for more information to present itself, or wait for the clarity. Like I was saying with the High Priestess and the Emperor, because I feel like it's coming, but maybe you just don't have the clarity yet. So, you know, again, just trying to stay away from impulsive decisions. And this, to me, we have the Eight of Cups and the Chariot behind that. Yeah. The Eight of Cups talks about almost kind of like leaving behind. I always kind of look at it as like old behaviors, old patterns, old ways of being, old ways of feeling about something. So of course, I mean, like there could be something that is coming to an end, and maybe you know that. And this to me is just kind of saying, just almost kind of like continue to like move forward, and almost just let the situation come to you. It's like, you know, like the situation would be moving towards you, you're moving forward, and eventually, you know, like you're going to meet. So, if that makes sense, because like I said, we have the Chariot card behind that. So it's like this thing is coming, right? And all you need to do is almost just kind of like keep moving forward. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And it'll be successful. Like there'd be some sort of victory that way. Or, you know, maybe the situation will, you know, just kind of like iron itself out better than maybe you even think is possible, or in a way that maybe you didn't see coming. Because, you know, we're walking away from this, you know, like kind of gloomy situation. You know, all these bowls are sinking. This last one is on fire. That's a last, you know, kind of thing that you dealt with. And we're like walking towards what I'm assuming to be the sun, right? Like we're walking towards something that makes us feel good. And And, you know, there's still like this distance here. So there's still a lot of information to come in, right? So, you know, like between here and there, it'll get to be more clear. Beautiful. So what's coming next for Sagittarius? What's next? Yeah. Like you'll be satisfied with your decision and the action that you took. Like you're heading in a good direction. You're heading into a direction that has a firm foundation to it. Like, you know, the Four of Wands, it talks about, you know, having 4 pillars and just, you know, kind of the sturdiness of having that foundation. And it's almost kind of like, you know, there's 2 people in this card too. So it's like all of the parties involved, if there is more than, of course, one party, are going to be satisfied with the direction or the outcome. And the feeling that I'm getting from this Queen of Pentacles is that you are going, ultimately, above everything else, you are going to be satisfied with your decision. And maybe, you know, like this decision that you make allows you to, like, there's more money involved, or just more like financial contentment, like more financial security. Because, you know, she's holding on to that coin there, but almost kind of like relaxed. I almost said lackadaisically, but I don't know if that's a word. You know, again, her eyes are closed. So it's just kind of, and we have the Ace of Wands behind that. So, you know, like new inspiration. And maybe, you know, it's just kind of creating an environment where you have the resources that you need, because of course, like the Pentacles have to do with resources, and maybe it just has like the resources that you need for like a new inspiration to come in or develop. And then we have the Eight of Cups behind that. And again, like I just kind of get this feeling that, you know, like all of this is happening because, you know, like there wasn't necessarily this like huge rush to do something, but it kind of like comes to you, or you guys are just moving in the same direction, like moving towards each other, like I said, and you meet at one point and it just makes sense. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I'm sending all my love to you. I'll see you soon. Bye.